Nasogea.
Hati ya kuchaguliwa kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Havana Media, and of course this is where we tell Africa's stories, either raw, unfiltered and real. Today we dive deep into one of the most shocking political moments in modern East Africa, the secretive swearing in of Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan. A ceremony marked by silence, fear, and the absence of her people. What does it mean when a leader takes the oath surrounded by soldiers, not citizens? And why have African leaders and the African Union itself chosen to remain silent? Let us break it down for you. It was early morning in Dodoma when the world's first images from the swearing-in ceremony of President Samia Suluhu Hassan. The atmosphere was tense, no cheering crowds, no citizens waving flags, no songs of celebration, just silence, broken only by the sound of military boots and a handful of applause from the government officials.
Mteule wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania sasa anaelekea katika meza ya kiapo.
Mimi Samia Suluhu Hassan naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania na kuitumikia kwa moyo wangu wote, na kwamba nitaihifadhi, nitailinda na kuitetea Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa mujibu wa sheria iliyowekwa. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie. Mimi Samia Suluhu Hassan naapa kwamba nitatenda kazi zangu za urais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa uaminifu na kutimiza wajibu wa kazi hizo kwa bidii na moyo mkunjufu, na kwamba nitawatendea haki watu wote kwa mujibu wa sheria, mila na desturi za Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania bila woga, upendeleo, huba wala chuki. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie. Mimi Samia Suluhu Hassan naapa kwamba katika kutekeleza madaraka niliyopewa kwa mujibu wa Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, nitatetea na kudumisha umoja wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa mujibu wa Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie.
Mheshimiwa wageni waalikwa, ndugu wananchi, mabibi na mabwana, tayari Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania na Amiri Jeshi Mkuu ameshakula kiapo na sasa anasaini hati ya kiapo chake.
A few African presidents were present, quietly seated, expressionless as the ceremony went on behind heavy military security. Outside the gates, streets were deserted. Reports suggested that internet restrictions and heavy police deployment in major cities such as Dar es Salaam, Arusha, and Mwanza. The message was clear. This was not a people's celebration. It was a political survival act. Just hours earlier, the Electoral Commission had declared Samia Suluhu the winner with nearly 98% of the votes, a number so high that it raised more questions than confidence. Across Tanzania, protests had already erupted. Citizens flooded the streets, calling the results a betrayal of democracy. In cities like Morogoro and Tanga, police clashed with demonstrators. Tear gas filled the air, arrests were made, and media coverage was heavily restricted. Yet amid the chaos, the swearing-in continued, almost as if nothing was happening. Observers call it a coronation in crisis, a leader taking power in front of generals and presidents, but not her people. Among those seen in the ceremony were a few familiar faces, Africans, presidents, and regional leaders who appeared determined to show solidarity. But behind the solidarity lies silence. No statement of concern about the protests, no call of dialogue, no acknowledgement of the violence or public anger spreading across Tanzania. Some political analysts have described this as the cause of silence among African leaders, a culture of mutual protection that prioritizes power over principle. Across social media, citizens from Kenya, Uganda, Zambia, and even South Africa has asked the same question. How can African leaders sit through such a ceremony while Tanzanians are being beaten in the streets for demanding fair election? The silence was deafening. Then came the silence from the African Union, the AU, an organization built on the promise of democracy, unity, and people's power, remained completely quiet. No statement, no observer's report, no call for peace. Instead, a short message was posted later that they congratulating Samia Suluhu on her victory and pledging continued cooperation. To many Tanzanians, it felt like a betrayal. How could the same institution that preached free and fair elections turn its backs on the people so quickly? For many young Africans, this moment felt familiar. The same silence followed election controversies in Uganda, Zimbabwe, and even Kenya in the past years. A silence that said power protects itself. While official media celebrated stability, ordinary Tanzanians told a different story. Voices from Dar es Salaam said they felt robbed, not just of their vote, but of their voice. One young man said, "We didn't even know the ceremony had happened. The TV was showing old clips. We woke up to find out we had a new president again." A woman from Arusha said, "My husband was arrested during the protests. He just wanted to speak out. Now they said, we should celebrate." These are not the voices of opposition. These are voices of ordinary people who felt abandoned. At the heart of this ceremony was one undeniable symbol, the military. From the armed vehicles surrounding the venue to the uniformed officers guarding every corner, the army's presence was impossible to ignore. Analysts say the message was simple. Power in Tanzania, at least for now, is not in the hands of the people. It's in the hands of those who control the guns. The contrast was striking. A ceremony meant to celebrate democracy, overshadowed by soldiers instead of citizens. So, why does the African Union remain silent? Some argue it's diplomacy, that the AU prefers quiet engagement over public criticism. Others say it's fear that the calling out one leader could open the doors to questioning others. Whatever the reason, the result is still the same. The people lose faith. Each time the AU stays silent, citizens lose hope that African institutions can ever stand for justice without external pressure. For example, in Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, political analysts are watching closely, with Samia Suluhu's government calm the unrest of deepening the divide. Will African citizens really continue to be silenced in the name of stability? Reports suggest that opposition leaders are being monitored, journalists intimidated, and activists warned to stay quiet for peace. The future looks uncertain, and the world is watching. Across Africa, this story echoes a painful truth. When power becomes more important than the people, democracy dies quietly, not with a bang, but with a whisper. And the whispers is the silence of African presidents who look away. It's the silence of the African Union that congratulates instead of condemning. It's the silence of the global community that shrugs and moves on. But silence never solves injustice. It only feeds it. From the empty swearing-in hall in Dodoma to the silent streets of Tanzania, one thing is clear. The people have been left out of their own democracy. The question now is not just about Samia Suluhu's presidency, but about Africa's soul. Will we continue to watch in silence, or will we start to speak up for justice, for truth, and for the power of the people? This is Havana Media, where every story matters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from across Africa. My name is Odur Billy, and see you in the next one.